I'm Gwennetta Wright.
And I'm Deonta B.
And welcome to Gwen's Business Corner with Deonta B. Hey, girl.
Hey, hey, hey.
Girl, it's our last show of the season.
I know, it is. It's been a long run.
Yes, it has. Can you believe we have done 3 straight seasons? Like, we're going into our 4th year in September.
It's unthinkable.
Yes, it definitely is.
I mean, when we started out with the show, just thinking about when the show first started until now, sometimes you look back and you're like, oh, this was just amazing.
Yes, and unbelievable. We've had some amazing guests, and the knowledge that we've been able to drop is just crazy. I'm feeling a little emotional. Like, I can't believe we are at the end of the season. And we got a lot of stuff in store for 2021.
Yes, we do. Like, kicking the door in like the pandemic.
So today's time we're talking about the unthinkable boss, which definitely defines what our season has been like and the type of guests that we've had on the show. And so one of the bosses we got on the show is Mrs. Jessica Lewis. She is known as the shipping container lady. And who else we got on the show?
Yes, we have the Dominic Jones and Cassidy Bass, and they are the co-creators of Conversation Games LLC.
Absolutely. I can't wait to hear about that.
Right, because when you think about a conversation game changers in a relationship.
Yeah, I love it.
We talk about game changers in business, but you talk about game changers in a relationship. Like, that's unthinkable.
Because, communication is horrible in relationships. And so I think playing a game where you get to talk and get to know each other just because we be scared to talk, right?
It's key.
Yes.
It's key.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yes. So this is Gwen's Business Corner with Deonta B. And today we are talking about unthinkable boss games. So you better stay tuned. Keep it locked. We'll be right back.
With virtual and in-office tax preparation from Expert Tax Service, you can file your tax return anytime, anywhere. Expert Tax Service makes it easy. Just log on to experttaxservices.com to get started. Our tax professionals will work with you to make filing your taxes simple, no matter where you are. Expert Tax Service. We're here for you at our offices in Columbus and Stone Mountain, or online nationwide at experttaxservices.com. Log on and get started today.
So welcome back. Today we're talking about the unthinkable boss games, and we have some people who have created some games themselves. Welcome to the corner. How y'all doing?
Thank you.
Yes, welcome.
So we like to jump right into it. So y'all have a business. Y'all co-creators of the Conversational Games LLC, and y'all create conversation party games. So tell us a little bit about how you got started and what was your inspiration of doing that?
Well, about 2018, we took a trip to Paris, France, and we met up with some friends of mine that live over there, and they had a dinner party, and they brought some people from all over Europe and from different countries. Some of them spoke English, some of them didn't. They were kind of speaking broken English, but what we had was some deep conversations about politics, about religion, and relationships, because all of them were kind of going through a lot of the same things that we go through over here in the States. So after the trip, we were like, how can we, bring this to our friends back in the States, and like, how can they, instead of just looking at their phones and people just all in their phones, how can we have deep conversations? And so we decided to put it in a game, and specifically a card game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it really creates a relaxed environment. So, because a lot of times the topics that we have in our games are really important topics that you really need to talk about, but it's kind of hard to bring it up. Like, how do you ask somebody on, when you're dating, hey, what's your credit score? You know, you kind of shy away from those questions, but they're really important when you're in a relationship to know that type of detail. So when we put them in the games, it kind of gives it a relaxed feel, and you can talk about those questions and those topics openly.
I know it's your turn, but let me ask you this then. So having a question like, what is your credit score? So is the game specifically for people like if you're on a date, or would it be a game that you utilize and say all of us is in the room and then you bust out and you pull the card and it says what your credit score is? How do you have a conversation with that?
Yes, it's not specific. Like they're open-ended questions, and they can be played in a group about everybody. So it's basically your opinion on these certain topics. So you'll say, do you think the man should pay on the first date? That type of thing. So everybody has an opinion on that, and you can kind of go around the room, and that's kind of how you play the game. Next thing you know, you're an hour, 2 hours, just deep in conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
So what are some of the challenges, because we know you all are a couple, so what are some of the challenges that you all face as couples when you first started dating that have inspired some of these questions that people don't want to ask?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
So of course you have that dynamic of moving in, merging your lives. We have 2 beautiful daughters, so you got that balance that you're trying to find. But for us, some of the challenges range from finding balance, for each other, as well as trying to work full-time jobs and run multiple businesses. So it's really, that's probably my thing. That's probably the biggest challenge for me, is just finding balance.
And we both have strengths and weaknesses in regards to the business. I mean, she's big on the, setting up the website, the technical part of it, and I'm big on the content. So, a lot of times she might be working a little bit more than me putting together content, rather than, she's doing a lot of the logistical things. So, that could create some tension when you're like, okay, but I'm the one who gave you all these ideas. So, that could be a struggle.
Yeah, so our questions kind of derive not just personally from our relationship, but we, have friends that we talk about these, things with. We get a lot of our content from just hot topics on social media, and we just, merge all of that. We take the best ones. So basically, our method to our madness is we get out on the patio, we grab some wine, some food, and we just kind of just go at it and just talk about, okay, what about this question? What about this topic? And then we, formalize it into, the format of how the game is set up. And we choose there's 52 cards in each deck. So we choose the top 52 cards, and out of all of our topics and questions that we came up with, and that's, how we put into the game.
So what's both of your top questions in the game
that you like the most for people to actually utilize?
Oh man, there's so many. Like that's a hard one. But I mean, just recently, last night, we had one that came up. If the breadwinner in the relationship should make all the decisions. Should the breadwinner in a relationship make all the decisions? So it got into a heated discussion, and that can be one of some of those controversial questions. I mean, certainly like who pays for the first date. That's usually a lot of the love and relationship ones are very, very controversial and can spark heated debate.
I bet.
Yeah, so we have 3 decks, and one is kind of like a social justice, and it was inspired by the whole, Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd and all that was going on in the country. So with those questions, pretty much all of them are good because they're so deep and so needed, and it really encourages people to, have those conversations. And then the other 2 that we have are, we have our love and relationships, which is generic love and relationship questions, and then we just recently relaunched the After Dark version of love and relationships. So that one is kind of, a little risque.
I like it. Get a little spice in the relationship conversation.
Scared to hear what else.
Late night question.
Yep.
All right, so Outside of just the content part of it. So, y'all came up with a solution. Y'all went somewhere, y'all seen there was a need in the areas that you were in, and y'all decided to create a game. So, for someone who's looking at watching the show and saying, you know what, I got an idea, I think I want to create a game. So, what advice would you give to them on creating a game and making it an online product?
Just be original. There's so many games out there, and a lot of, so with our game, we were really inspired by some of the games that were already out there, but we didn't want our game to be like everyone else's game. So by being original, I think that is the number one thing that I would say when you're coming up with a game. Do your research. Sky's the limit, because you may have, a goal or inspiration or just an idea, but do your research, figure out if it's something else out there that's similar to it, and if it is, then kind of, tweak it a little bit, make it your own, but definitely just be original. So.
I mean, and of course, if you want to create your own game, I certainly, want to give you the inspiration to do it, but a lot of it is a lot of us want to make somewhat of a profit if this is our side hustle, so you kind of need to make sure and look at the finances. So when you do your research, you say, okay, what is going to be your overhead to really create this, and what is going to be your profit margin in regards to that? So because sometimes it's like, you might create all this thing and then you realize, oh dang, I'm not really making much money. But our big thing was, it's really not that hard and expensive to make these cards and to put it together, but yet still we can have a profit from it.
Yeah, and you got to be passionate about it too, because for us, we enjoy playing the games.
Yeah, we do.
So it's not necessarily all about, we do have a profit margin that we, figured out, but we enjoy, making the games, creating the games. So I think if you have that passion behind it, the money and everything else will come. Yeah. So.
Yes, definitely. So how, because we know you guys started out, you said that initially it was, topics and questions that you all created, So how has social media and networking impacted you guys creating these games and starting these conversations?
Like exponentially,
right.
Because the thing is, and especially during the pandemic, we were all staying at home.
Right.
Social media is able to connect us and connect a lot of the users to our product. Whether we have the content of us just playing the game or videos of, us having a conversation party, them answering questions, us putting up some of the questions specifically on posts, and then a lot of the comments, and people are going back and forth arguing about it just in the comments.
Right.
So, that has kind of let us expand our reach to, different regions of the U.S., and I think even international. There's some people trying to get it from other countries.
Yeah,
so
we've shipped to London, big in the UK. We've had several shipments to the UK. So.
Yep.
Sounds awesome.
Yes.
I think I want a game, but okay.
We have 3 that we brought for you guys.
Oh, girl, yes!
So I'm
Get you into some games, because I like to play games.
So I'm gonna give them to you, but I have 3 more for you as well.
Okay,
Thank you. Okay, now you got to tell them. We got to tell you guys it's After Dark, the conversation party game, and this is not a game. So
Yeah.
definitely.
Yep.
So tell the viewers if they would like some of the games, how they can contact you and how can they get your product.
So you can find us online at conversationpartygame.com. You can find us on Instagram, Conversation Games, or at Conversation Games. You can find us on Facebook, Conversation Party Game. Pretty much if you do a Google search, just type in Conversation Party Game, it will pop up, because we are all over the internet. So.
Yep.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yep.
Well, thank you all for coming to the corner.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
introducing us to the games that
You
we
got to pop one open so we can ask some questions on it. I know we don't have time.
Yes, we need
We'll
to.
be here all day.
Next time, right.
All right.
Well, there you have it. We are talking to Unthinkable Boss Game Changers. And coming up next, we have Jessica, and she makes it happen out of shipping containers. This is Gwen's Business Corner with Deonta B. Stay tuned, keep it locked. We'll be right back.
With virtual and in-office tax preparation from Expert Tax Service, you can file your tax return anytime, anywhere. Expert Tax Service makes it easy. Just log on to experttaxservices.com to get started. Our tax professionals will work with you to make filing your taxes simple, no matter where you are. Expert Tax Service. We're here for you at our offices in Columbus and Stone Mountain, or online nationwide at experttaxservices.com. Log on and get started today.
Welcome back. So if you are just tuning in, we are talking about Unthinkable Boss Games, and we have with us the shipping lady, Jessica Lewis. And I mean, welcome to the corner.
Thank you for having me.
What a title.
Yes, it is. It's big, right?
Right.
We do big things.
Okay, now.
It's fitting.
I love it.
So, you are definitely the unthinkable boss. So, you created some shipping containers. Tell the viewers, what is that? Like, tell them what it does.
So we build stuff out of containers. So think of Legos. Most people, when they were kids, they played with Legos. They stacked them, they sat them side by side, and they built stuff out of it. That's the same exact thing that we do. So we take the container that's sitting down at Savannah Port or whatever port. We take those and we repurpose them for disaster relief projects, affordable housing. You can turn them into retail space. You think it up. We take the vision out your head, get it onto paper like a blueprint, and then we execute and create your vision for you.
I got a follow-up question. I don't do this the whole show. It's the last show anyway. So let me ask you this, like, where would someone put the container? Like, you know, it's kind of like when you think about a trailer. Okay, how do they find a space to actually put the container on so they can utilize? How does that work?
So what's great about the container is very adaptable. So one, you only need about 8 to 10 feet because the container is, that's how the width of it is, about 8 to 10 feet. The length of it is long, so maybe you need at least 40 to 50 feet outside of that. So most people are using them as what they call accessory dwelling units. So if you want like an in-law suite, or you just want an extra space on your land, your she shed, your man cave, you call it whatever, you can place something small like that on your own property. But a lot of people, my customers, are typically doing development projects. So they're doing tiny home communities, they're building out retail spaces. I got a crazy customer that wants to do a stadium. I said, hey, we can do it, whatever you want, we can make it happen. So you don't need a lot of space. It's just, if you need something, it can be as little as 20 by 8, and you need a few extra feet just so it can fit in that space, and you can put it right on your own personal property.
Wow.
Wow.
I had another question. Go ahead.
So what would you, I mean, because before I go to my question, I would want to know, like, what would be the cost to build something like affordable like that?
That was my question.
That's a great question. And so our base model started at $40K.
Okay.
And that's a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, tiny home. So for a person who says, listen, I want to build something fix homelessness in my city, it starts at $40K and it goes up. So the up means if it's a larger space or you want some kind of fancy finish. So, you know, everybody, they like fancy stuff. It costs more money to have fancy stuff, but our base model that is like fully outfitted with water, electricity, and the living space, $40K. Very simple.
Wow.
Would the same price be for like someone who, say, wanted a retail space?
It could range the same amount, so it still depends on the finishes. So retail space needs a lot of lighting. They may want solar. You can add solar panels to it. So it really depends on what the customer wants, but every single thing that we do is custom made. So if you can think up whatever, we can create it for you.
Wow. So you currently own properties in Africa and other countries. So tell us a little bit about how you expanded out to other parts of the country that you were just now everywhere.
Well, for us, we were strategic. So a lot of people like to work in their businesses. I'm the lazy entrepreneur. I'm very honest about that. But I very much so believe that other people are stronger in certain areas than I am. And so I don't have no problem outsourcing. So my immediate team has architects, engineers, general contractors. I'm the owner, my co-owner, He does all the work. He does all the real work. And how we expanded is we just honestly, hey guys, we need partners in other states. And like that, GCs came about, more architects came about, more consultants and other people in other industries that we didn't even think about, logistics and transportation. Like every aspect of our business, we now have a partner who is in another state or another country, because we now have a business over in Ghana and we have land over in Ghana. People who really cared about what we were doing looked out for us, and now we have a whole tribe. Our team is dope. I mean, I can honestly say I'm so impressed by our circle right now and how we were able to move so quickly in a short period of time. Just by putting one post up. Hey y'all, who want to do container stuff with us? And now everybody, they joined in and we went viral, and the rest has been history.
I love it.
So going back to the pricing, so you said it started at $40K. So is it financing available, or you just have to buy it outright?
Both. So a lot of people can finance it themselves outright, or we have some options on our site. So we're not a finance company. We don't provide financing, but because a part of our business is to help you get your vision out your head and execute it, we have some resources on our site under financing. So you go on there, there's about, I think, 6 total vendors now that can help with tiny homes. If you want something in your backyard, you may want to do a whole community. You may be a real estate investor or a real estate developer and you want to do a whole project using containers. We have resources on our site for that. So depending on what you're trying to do, it may be, I guess, better for you to pay cash, but if it's a bigger project, we have resources on our site.
Wow. So what are some of the challenges that you have faced being in this sector of business? Because I mean, it's unthinkable and it's sometimes unheard of. Most people don't even, like she said, know what it is. So what have some of the obstacles been that you have faced trying to even start this business?
For me, I'm crazy. So I feel like I can do anything, not realizing that there are barriers to injury. So being a woman in construction, then me and my partner were both black in green construction, like all of that stuff, people are like, nah, y'all can't do this. And they gave us a lot of challenges as far as permitting and getting land and whatever you can think of. We had all those challenges, but we overcame them in the mindset that you can tell us no now, but you won't tell us just later. Because 1, we know what we're doing. 2, we've been in the game a long time. And 3, we already know what God has planned for us. I feel like whatever's for us is for us. So even if you think your barrier could stop us, we already know we're gonna get over it and we'll make it happen. And so for everybody that told us no, they now coming back like, oh, I remember you guys from a couple years ago. Yeah, we're still here. And you did not help us, but that's okay, because now you can come on, because now you're chasing us when you didn't want us to even be a part of it. So you don't get discouraged, you just keep moving.
I love
She changed the game.
Right, I just love that so much. Like what you just said meant a lot, and I think it meant a lot, especially in the season of the show, just because even with our show, we felt like we'll face that same thing. People not really lunching on to what the vision of the show is, and the expansion of what we're trying to do for entrepreneurs and brands. And we say about all the time, we talk about it, and we're like, okay, they ain't paying us attention now, but we're gonna keep building, and then they're gonna chase us.
For sure.
And that's awesome. I just love it. Just love it.
Thank you.
So what advice would you give someone seeking to give, purpose in trying to, give a shipping container?
My personal piece of advice is start somewhere. So don't procrastinate. Don't say maybe next time, or don't even say I don't have the help. Just like you all, when y'all started y'all show, y'all probably said, look, we just won't do it. Just do it. You don't know how God is going to order your step, and if you don't even take the first move towards it, you don't know how you're going to receive, and you don't know how people are going to help you. When I tell you guys, I just came up with a vision. I was working for somebody on the West Coast, and I said, you know what, I'm making y'all too much money. I need to go do this myself. And I stepped off. God has ordered my step every single way, because I stepped out on faith. I didn't know we were going to be here. I didn't know this was going to happen, but if I had never said bye to my previous employers, I would never have this opportunity. And now I'm here on y'all show, and in y'all last episode, and congrats, and I'm so proud of both of you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So before we get out of here, I want you to tell the viewers, because I need your personal information. I got ideas in my head right now. Tell the viewers if they're looking for your services, how they can reach you.
Absolutely. So for one, you can find us at shippingliving.com. That's shippingliving. You can Google Mobu Enterprises, MOBU. We got articles, videos, all kinds of stuff for your viewing pleasure. And of course, we're on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all Shipping Living or Mobu Enterprises, whichever you prefer.
Yes. Well, thank you for coming to the corner.
Thank you.
You have
for having
officially
me.
schooled us on the game of being the shipping lady.
Yes,
I love it.
absolutely. Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming. Well, there you have it. We are talking to Unthinkable Boss Game Changers, and this is the last episode of Gwen's Business Corner with Deonta B, and we're closing out. Stay tuned, keep it locked. We'll be right back.
So welcome back. Today we was talking to unthinkable bosses about unthinkable boss games. And we're at the end of the road.
I know, it's been like crazy. And I mean the guests today, like the businesses that they have.
They took us out. This was really a good show.
It was.
Definitely a good show. So we want to thank everyone just for tuning in, being with us for the last 3 years and following us with this show. I hope that we have brought value to your lives, and we're not ending the show, but 3 years, we didn't think we'll be here 3 years later.
Right.
And we just appreciate all the support and the love that we have gotten. And I hope that, we just continue to go on and on. Please definitely follow us. Follow us on our social media pages on Instagram and Facebook. We have a lot of surprise announcements coming for 2021. We'll definitely be looking for new guests. Y'all know we have built our channel, so we're going to be developing new shows and new content. So definitely download our app, GBC Media app. You can get all the information on our social media platforms. If you're looking for us, on our downtime now, you can find me, your girl, Dr. Gwennetta Wright, at Gwennetta Wright on all social media outlets. And bestie, how they find you?
Well, you can find me at all social media outlets at The Real Deonta B. And I just want to take the time just to thank our production team.
Yes!
Thank you for rocking with us for all these years. And to be with the same team for all these years. We started from the ground up. Yes, it is a blessing. We give homage to all of you following our dreams together. And we just want to say that we appreciate you guys. I appreciate you for following these dreams with me, and just everybody out there. If you have a dream, we just want to say that we are living testimony and proof that you can build your own platform. Just continue to kick the door in and continue to believe in yourself. And this is Gwen's Business Corner with Deonta B. And as we close out, I love you, bestie.
I love you too, boo.
Peace out. We going. We out of here.
Peace.